I would like to acknowledge that this video is being filmed on the traditional lands of the Wurrundjeri people of the Kulin Nation. I pay my respects to their elders past and present, and extend that respect to any Aboriginal, Torres Strait Islander or First Nations people who may be watching this video today. Hi everyone, welcome to a very impromptu reading vlog. I was not planning on vlogging this, but in the end I decided that I would. I am participating in the Queer Blackathon hosted by Jessie from Bow Ties and Books. This readathon was actually created by them in 2020 in honour of Tony McCabe, who was the trans black man who was killed by police in May of 2020. And so this started out as a 24-hour readathon, and this year it is a 48-hour readathon running from June 19th until June 21st. Jessie has two co-hosts. There is Ashley from Bookish Realm and Erica from The Broken Spine. I'll leave all their channels and videos linked down below. And the idea is to read and uplift the voices of queer black authors and also books that feature queer black protagonists. So I am not really going to be following any of the prompts or the bingo board. There's a challenge that is just 3 prompts, and there is also a challenge that is a bingo board. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to go through the books that I currently have on my Kindle and try and read as many of them as I can. So I'm going to show you what I have, and then I'm going to try and read at least 2 or 3 of them. I'm going to start tonight. Just because of the timing and the time differences, it's actually the 19th of June here in Australia, and it's just after nearly 5:30, and I will probably read 1 book tonight, 1 tomorrow night, and maybe 1 on the 21st when I get home from work. Not that that really matters. I'm going to try and read 3 books. I would really like to get to American Dreamer by Adriana Herrera. I would also like to read I'm So Not Over You by Kosoko Jackson. Also, it would be really nice to get to A Taste of Honey, hopefully, maybe. And then I have a few others on here. So there is the Fiona Zedde book, which I heard Izzy talk about recently. There is an Alyssa Cole, Devon and Chris Plan a Wedding. I heard someone talking about this recently, so I had picked it up because it's also part of the Karina Adores line. And I also have All Boys Aren't Blue and You Made a Fool of Death with Your Beauty. And those are just a couple of ones that I saw recommended that I picked up. Whether I read them this time around or at another point, I want to get to a couple of these before I pick up some of the newer ones, but we'll see how far I get. And I don't really know very much about any of them. Alright, so I just finished the first book. I read A Taste of Honey by Ashante Wilson, and this is a speculative sci-fi fantasy type novella, and it was really interesting. It does jump around in time a lot, so if that is not your thing, I would probably skip this one, but I found it really fascinating. I can't pretend to say that I fully understand the world in which all of these characters live in, because that was like the more fantasy side that just doesn't always sit in my brain. That's not how I'm wired with fantasy books. But the protagonist, Aquib, is a young man. He is the youngest son but the heir of his family, and it is his purpose to marry Wells to elevate everyone else's standing. But we open the book and he has just come across a soldier from across the sea. This soldier's people have been accepted by Aquib's people, and they're sort of revered. And Aquib and Lucrio, I think is his name, they strike up a friendship, and Lucrio is constantly flirting with him. But we find out very quickly that Aquib's people do not look upon men loving men well at all. So that is a huge issue. And so we find out about their relationship, which takes place over 10 days. And what we learn about their relationship over those 10 days is spaced out through the whole book. And in between that, we get glimpses of Aquib's life after those 10 days. So we see him from the time he is 18 when he first meets Lucrio to the end where he is 89 years old. So like it jumps around a lot. I was waiting for the reveal at the end of the book to see the reveal for what happened, but I was not expecting what I found out. It was very fascinating. This is a world of magic and witches, and this world had some interesting gender-specific roles within society, and it was just a really fascinating read. So I'm glad that I finally picked it up. Now that I finished A Taste of Honey, I am thinking that I'm going to listen to Crimes of Passion while I do a little bit of work on the computer. So this is an Audible original. I've heard Bree talk about it a lot. It's by Jack Harbon. It's apparently meant to be a great audio, so I'm looking forward to listening to it. So I just finished Crimes of Passion by Jack Harbon, which is the full cast audio that was written for Audible Originals. Oh my gosh, I don't listen to very many audiobooks, just the way that I am. I have to say, I had to find something very, very mindless to do in order to listen to it, because normally if I listen to an audiobook, I read it as well, because my brain just, I have a very bad habit of tuning out things that I'm just listening to. So that was an experience, but it was great. And this was about two rival podcasters who both cover true crime, and they both have a different spin on it. And they end up having to work together as a tribute to a long-time fan who has passed away. And so they decide to record a 3-episode podcast together. This forces them to spend time together. It's very much forced proximity, rivals to lovers. It was a great romance, and I loved both of the characters. They were fantastic. I really enjoyed it. So I'm so pleased that I decided to listen to this one tonight. But now I think I'm just gonna pop on a movie before I go to bed. I have to go back to work tomorrow. I don't wanna go to work tomorrow. And then I will pick the next book. I will probably try and read American Dreamer tomorrow night. But yeah, we'll see how I feel when I get home. Hi everyone, my name is Steph. I am a terrible vlogger. It's like 6:30 p.m. on June 20th, and this is the first time I picked up the camera because today has been a day. Oh my god, what is wrong with this camera? Anyway, it's probably because I haven't got any lights on. Oh, that's better. Now you can see me. So yes, it has been a day. I was very, very tired this morning and got woken up by people doing construction work at 7:30 a.m. outside my apartment, which I know I'm surrounded by businesses, but my apartment is residential, so I'm pretty sure there are rules about that. I don't know. Anyway, they decided to start jackhammering at like 7:15 this morning. That was a nice way to wake up. Anyway, yes, I do sleep until 7:30ish because I live across the road from work, so I don't really have to get there super early. Today was a day of very low energy, and then I was out of the classroom for a couple of sessions, so my flow was not there at all today. Thankfully, the kids were fairly okay today and didn't mind the fact that, you know, I was in and out all day. Then I went to PT. Again, doing PT while extremely low energy is not fun. Bless my trainer for putting up with so much of my nonsense. And now I'm home and cooking dinner, and it's going to take about 40 minutes. So anyway, the plan tonight is to read American Dreamer and to eat dinner and catch up on some YouTube, and then figure out what is going on with me tomorrow, because my teaching partner, who would normally teach on Tuesdays, is not coming in tomorrow because her kids are sick. So I don't know if I'm going to be put back into the classroom or if there's going to be a relief teacher. If I'm being put into the classroom, there's a whole lot of things I need to sort out, because tomorrow is our prep breakfast. So it's part of the camping program for 5 and 6 year olds. They come in early and we do a breakfast, and they come in and spend the day in their pajamas. I'm not sure what's going on at this point because it was not supposed to be my day in the classroom. So yeah, it's going to be one of those nights. On the plus side, dinner is going to be honey soy chicken wings and chicken drumettes, which will be tasty, and there's enough for me to take to work tomorrow. So yay. And if you are in the Romance Booktuber Discord and you would like to participate in some reading sprints with me next week on June the 28th, pop your name down, because I actually get to host them, because it's, you know, school holidays for me. Thanks to Heather and Melissa for signing up. I'm very excited. Sometimes all I want to do is just hang out with my online friends, because I don't also have the added pressure of going out somewhere to be social. I can be social from my apartment, and that takes some of my anxiety away. So yes. I can't remember if I've shown these in a vlog, but I went on a bit of a pronoun badge buying binge, but I wanted some variety so that I can wear them on my lanyard at work. This is my current lanyard. I actually have a rainbow one, but I wanted to wear my, well, this one is an ace one, but I kind of wear it as a demisexual lanyard anyway. But it has my rainbow, love is love, respect women pins, and also this pronoun pin was the first one to arrive. I actually have a badge maker or a pin maker, and the badges are about this size or a little bit smaller. And I'm thinking about talking to one of our APs who's in charge of student wellbeing and seeing if they want to do a little thing maybe with the senior kids and getting them to design pronoun badges. I don't know, I've got to put that to them at some point. I'll let you know what I come up with and if it's something that we go ahead with. A gourmet chef I am not. This is super simple. It's just tomatoes and couscous and the chicken, and my green is in my green smoothie. I don't know, does that count as a balanced meal? Probably not, but I'm hungry, so I'm gonna eat it. Okay, dinner is done. I am getting ready to start American Dreamer by Adriana Herrera. I've done the dishes. I've emailed my boss to find out whether or not I have to write relief teacher notes tonight, so fingers crossed I find that out like before 10 o'clock tonight. That would be nice. I'm about to start reading, but I got very excited tonight because there is someone who I have a lot of respect for who is she's a former Australian teacher and principal who now is a consultant and does a lot of work that I have been involved in. She was one of the original people behind the course that I'm facilitating, and she's moved away from that now and is doing her own consulting and working with teachers around literacy instruction in schools. She's awesome. Her name is Riss. I'll leave her Instagram page link down below. But anyway, I talked to her quite a bit on Instagram, and I had recommended her the Stay a Spell series because she really enjoyed A Court of Thorns and Roses and Throne of Glass, but she'd seen me talking about it, and I said, well, I think you might like it. They're really fun and entertaining. Anyway, she messaged me tonight and said, loved the series. Is there anything else you recommend? Like, well, you want more paranormal romance? I'm your girl. It's funny because I always feel really awkward recommending books to people because I've only met her in person once or twice. Everything else has been online. So it's always interesting trying to, you know, gauge which level of bonkers of my recommendations I can actually pass on to people. I did say, I think she would really like the Hidden Legacy series by Lona Andrews because I think it's a perfect mix between something like Throne of Glass and something like Stay a Spell, where it's still set in the real world but it has a slightly more magic leaning towards it than a contemporary paranormal romance. So I think she would really like that. I think she'd appreciate the humor because I think it's a very solid series. So that was my first suggestion. And then I also recommended the Green Creek series by TJ Klune, which is, and I told her, is one of my top 5 paranormal romance series. I mean, it's not for everyone, but I don't know, I think she might get a kick out of it because she is really big on the traits of writing. That's something that she's been leading a lot of training around that I've been involved in. And I think TJ Klune does some very, very interesting things, particularly around author's voice in story. So I'm very intrigued to see what she thinks. So fingers crossed she likes it and doesn't, you know, tell me that I have terrible taste in books. Anyway, I feel like I've made it. That I've recommended someone who I have a huge amount of respect for professionally wants paranormal romance book recommendations from me. How does that happen? Alright, so I finished American Dreamer. That was so good. And like, I knew it would be, I just haven't picked it up yet. And I'm at once disappointed with myself for not picking it up earlier and deeply grateful that I have read it for this readathon. So again, conflicted feelings. But anyway, it is the story of Nesto, who has a Afro-Caribbean food truck, and he has just made the decision to move his food truck from New York City to New York State. And he's in Ithaca, and that's where his mother lives, and he is setting up his food truck. And on the very first day or second day, he meets Jude, who is one of the town librarians who works with the youth programs and who is in the process of trying to set up a mobile library. And the two hit it off and they get along really great. There are so many great side characters. Both Jude's best friend Carmen and Nesto's friends are just delightful side characters who I loved every time they were on the page. But my god, this book hit me in the feels. But anyway, content warnings in here for homophobic families who make very distressing comments to one of the characters' faces. You have a sibling who has cancer and who passes away from that within the course of the book. And there is also a racist AF white woman in this book who is just horrible, absolutely horrible. But she gets her comeuppance, so I mean, there's that at least. I mean, I was waiting for that to happen. And most of the time it's talking about what sounds like delicious food. I confess, being Australian, I have never had Afro-Caribbean food. I'm now going to have to look up and see if there is somewhere in Melbourne that does that. But honestly, the whole thing just sounded delightful, and now I'm really hungry, but it is like bedtime, so there will be no more food had for me. I thoroughly enjoyed this. It was great. I would be very, very eager to continue the rest of the series and to do a bit more of a deep dive into Adriana Herrera's backlist. I've read some of her novellas, but now I'd like to get into some more of her novels, so that will probably happen soon. I said I was going to do one more day of this video. I think that technically puts me outside the readathon dates, but I will try and read another book tomorrow night and include it in this reading vlog, and then hopefully this will go up at the end of the week. Good morning, guys. Happy Tuesday. I'm off to work. It's like 7 o'clock. Time for the prep breakfast. I will check in with you guys this evening. But look, I actually picked up the camera before I left for work, even though I'm half asleep. Oh my gosh, I cannot wait for the end of this week and holidays. I need the world's longest sleep. I was supposed to have Pilates, but apparently it got cancelled, so instead I got myself takeout for dinner. Alright, so I may have done some comfort spending at Archer on the Olive, well, their online store. So the first package arrived. I forget which one this is. This was one of their boxes. I remember seeing it being unboxed online. Anyway, all these post-it notes flew everywhere, and all of these flew everywhere, so I'm not entirely certain about their packaging style, but you know, whatever, it is coming overseas. So these have post-it notes, and I like them because they have black ones, except they've all gone flying. These are, what are they? Are little headers for planning. There are some decorative washi tapes, which are super cute. There are some neon gel pens, which I'll test in a moment. There are a set of 3 paper clips, which I can't remember what these look like. Oh, okay. So elegant. So they have the Archer and Olive logo on some actual paper clips, so they'll hang out. So there's a yellow one, a pink one, and a green one. Now, I know that this journal is neon green, and it has this notebook cover. So that is the notebook cover. It's probably not going to focus because it's all glittery. Do you like the pink? I spy more post-it note flag thingies that have escaped. Okay, so 160 dot grid pages. That's very smooth. And with the notebook inside the cover, it looks like this. Anyway, we like sparkles. I've had an absolutely shocking day, and like nothing significantly bad happened, but honestly, it was just one of those days where I question my existence and why I do what I do. So I'm gonna have a shower and hopefully return a little less dramatic. I'm pretty sure I said before that this was the day that just kept on giving. I'm not even kidding, it's still going. So it's just one of those weeks where everything sucks. But that's fine because the readathon's going great. I'm enjoying all the books I'm reading. I am nearly 50% of the way through Femme Like Her and really enjoying it. But of course, I just got a text message or got a phone call from one of my good friends and colleagues at work who I worked with quite closely today in small confined spaces, and she tested positive. So I've done my test tonight.
it's negative, I'll do one in the morning. I'm supposed to be going out tomorrow night to pick up a monitor because I'm facilitating a workshop on Thursday. So I will be testing a lot this week, and it will really suck if I get COVID before the holidays. This vlog will be over before I find out whether or not I actually have it. So yes, but anyway, that's beside the point. Femme Like Her is really great. It is about Nyla, who is a lesbian who really only dates studs and has had a terrible experience with femme lesbians in the past. And she meets this woman, Scotty, and she has this one date with her, one very steamy scene with her, and then is basically ghosted for 2 weeks. But then Scotty starts popping up everywhere where she is and is trying to get Nyla to give her a second chance. Meanwhile, there's a whole lot of other things going on. Nyla is about to become redundant in her job, and there's a few things I think with family brewing in the background which we haven't quite got to the bottom of yet. At the moment they're at a winery, and honestly it's a very easy read, so I'm enjoying it. So I just finished Femme Like Her by Fiona Zedde. Fiona Zedde? I think so. Anyway, it was really good. Unexpectedly emotional and dealing with some harder topics like toxic relationships and parents confessing that, you know, they are not always as accepting straight away of who people are, and yeah, a whole lot of things that were not quite what I was expecting in the last sort of 20% of the book, but were really good, just very full on. And I suppose the other thing that I thought about this one was just that the ending felt rather abrupt. I would have just liked another chapter just to wrap things up, but that may just be personal preference. But anyway, that is my Queer Blackathon reading vlog, and I really enjoyed it and reading the books. And even though the rest of my life is imploding at the moment, or so it feels like, the reading is good, so I cannot complain about that. Thank you very much to the hosts of the Queer Blackathon readathon. I will leave all of their links down below, and yeah, I hope everyone has a really good week, and I will check in with you soon. Bye everyone.